Hello, my name is Michael Lambert, and today I want to talk a little bit about the fantastic news we got last week that there is a plan. It's been a plan around for some time, but we've only just been told about this plan to transform the British economy from a low-skilled, low-pay economy into a high-skilled, high-paid economy. A fantastic transformation that we can all look forward to, that will in effect result in us all getting paid a lot more money. It's really exciting. And if there's time at the end of the video, I'll tell you how I'm expecting to win the lottery tonight and how I expect to be picked for the England squad in the World Cup. But I want to start by talking a bit about our leader, our Prime Minister. Now, I made a video a few months ago in which I explained that for three very good reasons he is totally unfit to be Prime Minister. The first reason was that he is completely self-obsessed. He only thinks about himself. It's his only interest, his own image, having a good time. Look, he's just about, I think today, coming back on from a fourth very expensive holiday in a year. He's spent all this money on jets with Union Jacks on them. He spent all this money on a presidential suite in Downing Street, so he looks presidential. He wants to build this presidential yacht. It's all about him, and enjoying himself and having a good time. He's not interested in government. He's not interested in detail. He doesn't want to run things. He wants to be Prime Minister. He wants to be on the television. He wants to be the focus of attention all the time. And that is not something you want in a leader. You want a leader who is responsible, who is well informed, who is on top of everything and makes good decisions. The second reason I gave for him being totally unfit for being Prime Minister is the fact that he's dishonest. He's a liar. He is known throughout the world. Everybody knows he's a liar. Everyone knows that you can't believe a word he says. And I think this is particularly borne out this week with the revelation from both Cummings and from Ian Paisley Jr. that when he signed the withdrawal agreement and the Northern Ireland Protocol, he had no intention whatsoever, and already said he had no intention of abiding by it. Now, how can you have a Prime Minister who signs a legal agreement, a contract, a treaty, having no intention of keeping it? The man is dishonest. But it's all about saying whatever he has to say to further his own career, his own prospects. The third reason I gave as to why he's unfit to be Prime Minister is the fact he's incompetent. The man is just incompetent. He cannot make decisions. We've seen the dithering. Look at, again, revelations this week about the report from the MPs about the handling of the COVID crisis. The fact that Johnson didn't go to the first 5 COBRA meetings. The fact that he dithered and delayed with all the lockdowns. And over last Christmas and so on, as to whether there was going to be a lockdown, wasn't, and so on. It's all indecision because he can't make decisions. He is somebody who needs someone to tell him what to do. He'll go on the stage and he'll present everything, and he'll waffle and entertain, but he can't make decisions. And there's a story about, I expect, about when a few days before becoming Prime Minister, before the election last time, he went to Cummings and asked him to become come to Downing Street and become his principal advisor. In other words, tell him how to run the government. And Cummings, instead of saying, yes, thank you very much, you did, I'm very honoured, just said, well, these are my conditions, and laid out a whole load of conditions. And that's how he became so powerful. Now, of course, Johnson's wife didn't like Cummings, it seems. They seemed to have fallen out, and as a result of, presumably because she didn't want him around anymore, he was sacked, and no one knows who's advising Johnson right now. He's making so many mistakes, and we're in such a mess that could be anybody. But likely, chances are it's his wife who's telling him what to do. So we're not really not being very responsibly governed. Our Prime Minister is, quite frankly, an incompetent, dishonest, self-obsessed clown, and that's not good. So this transformation of the economy from low skill, low pay to high skill, high pay. Now, how's that going to work? Does it mean that everybody who's got a job now is going to be trained up for a better job? Is the road sweeper going to be trained up so he can work in the depot, and then the man who's working in the depot is going to be trained up so he can work in the office, etc., etc.? Is that the idea? And how can you train people up? I mean, how do you train up a waiter to be a better waiter? Do you send them on a course and give them some sort of software to show which is the most efficient way to walk around the tables? How do you make a barman more efficient, and how do you train him up? Or somebody who's making beds in a hotel, how does that work? I think the answer really, what Johnson means is, I mean, the whole point of this thing, it's just another catchphrase, transform the economy from low skill, low pay to high skill, high pay. It's just a catchphrase, and what you're supposed to remember is the high pay bit. And you think, oh, that's fantastic. What the government is going to do is going to make that I should get paid more money. I mean, you cannot take a whole nation and train up everybody to do a better job or to do their job better. I mean, it's simply impossible. Who would train them? I mean, it's just nonsense. What he really means is that he wants us to go high tech. Now, Cummings was obsessed with high tech. His belief was that we should let farming go and let manufacturing go. Car manufacturing doesn't matter. It's all 20th century businesses. Let them all go. The future is IT, high tech, and that's what we should concentrate on. We should seek to promote businesses whereby eventually we would come up with another Apple or another Microsoft or another Amazon, some great, fantastic worldwide giant which is going to be worth hundreds of billions. That's what Cummings thought we should go for. And I suppose in the back of his mind, Johnson's remembered this, and he thought when he was looking for a catchphrase for the Tory conference, he thought, oh, that's right, yeah, high skill, we'll go for high skill. And so that's why he came out with this idea of skilling everybody up and so on. So the idea really, as I say, is to move our economy on to high tech, IT and all the rest of it, and to hell with the rest of it, it doesn't matter. Now there's a problem with this. In fact, there are two problems with this. The first is that this would have been a really good idea, in about 1985 to 1990, when things were just starting, when Silicon Valley was still a farming valley, when things were just beginning, and then if we'd got in then and we'd started then and we built our own centre here, there's a chance we might have become a big centre of computing and so on, and IT and AI and all the rest of it. But it's too late, it's all done. And the second reason why this is a very risky and foolish strategy is this, that the giants control so much, are so powerful and are so rich. It's not only Silicon Valley, it's also Shenzhen in China, but the two of them just dominate the whole world. And what happens, and it's happened over and over again, is this, that, I mean, we've got in this country, we've got some brilliant, fantastic universities, some brilliant computer people, IT people, AI people, robotics, all this, brilliant people. Probably, equivalent as good as anywhere in the world. But if in this country you start a business, an IT business, okay, you have to raise a couple of million, and then you get on, it's doing quite well, and you raise another 20, 30, 40, 50 million, and all the venture capitalists come in and all the rest of it. You've got all the money, and you build the business up, and it's worth 100 million. And then the big companies start noticing. And what happens is they just swoop in and buy you. And the venture capitalists, they'll see a chance of making a good profit and get out. They don't want to wait around and say, maybe this will be a £5 billion company in 5 years' time. They're in and out. And the people who start the business, might they walk away with tens of millions? They're very happy. And it's very, very difficult for anybody anywhere in the world to build a big tech company without it at some stage being taken over by one of the giants. In this country, for example, I can tell you, in the past few years, for example, some of the great high-tech successes we've had, there's something called imagination technology. These produce processors for phones and things. They're doing fantastically well. Chinese came and bought them, 500 million. Skyscanner, you know, where you book the fantastic site where you book all your plane flights. A firm based in Edinburgh, built up in Edinburgh, employing hundreds of people, bought out by a Chinese company. There's ARM Technology, this firm that produces computer chips and so on. Very high tech and so on. They were bought out by a Japanese company called SoftBank. And then SoftBank sold it to NVIDIA, which is a huge American computer company. There's DeepMind, that's the software company in England who developed that fantastic software that managed to beat the world champion at Go, AlphaGo. There's a film about it. Very interesting, but this absolutely brilliant technology. Sold to Google, 650 million. I bet the people who started that company and built it up and walked away with tens of millions each, I expect they're very, very happy about that. There was an outfit called Magic Pony. They produce video compression technology. Sold to Twitter, 150 million. So there isn't any way at this late stage we're going to build a computer industry in this AI, IT company, robotics, whatever, in this country it's ever going to compete or be able to compete with the giants, because they are just too big, too powerful. They're not going to let anybody else build anything that's going to compete, or they're not going to miss the chance of buying up anything that has some potential. So it isn't going to happen. And whilst I sympathise with the idea we must invest in technology, I mean, it is affecting our lives more and more and more, taking over our lives in many ways. Trying to nurture huge companies is not the way to go. People keep saying to me, well, you know, you keep complaining about everything, keep criticising everything. Why? What should we have done? It seems to be pretty obvious. I mean, this whole Brexit, I'm sorry to mention Brexit again, but this whole Brexit insanity, and we're all seeing right, left and centre every day, we're seeing more and more news about disastrous consequences with the shortages of labour and so on. We should never have left the EU. We had a fairly sound economy when we joined the EU, and when we decided back in the 2016, our economy was reasonably sound. What we should have done, we should certainly have invested in IT and technology and robotics and so on, but we should have invested to improve our own existing businesses so we could build them up, because you must have some foundation. If you've got a solid economy, if you can improve that, you're generating greater wealth all the time. If on the other hand you do as we do, we say we want to leave, we want to take back control, completely meaningless, we want to take back control, therefore we're going to just let all this go, car manufacturing, all these firms that were exporting previously all going bust or closing down, all the rest of it, just let it go. That is crazy, because you just weaken the economy so much, and it's going to be so difficult to build up from where we are, and we haven't even got to where we're going to end up the way things are going at the moment. I mean, who knows what's going to happen next year? The current obsession is with Christmas. We must have we're letting these privileged drivers come in from the EU in order to drive around for us up to Christmas to deliver all our presents, make sure we're not short of presents, and we're letting some turkey pluckers come in to see that we've all got turkeys for Christmas. After that, well, you know, God knows. So as I say, this whole idea of transforming the economy from low skill, low pay to high skill, high pay, it's just a slogan. It's just meaningless verbal garbage that Johnson was able to come out with at the Tory conference, and he got lots of cheers there. Of course, he got a lot of criticism from the press. But it's just so simple, it's just so basic. The way that you become wealthier is by increasing productivity. We are notoriously one of the least productive countries in the world. We have 4 cabinet ministers who jointly wrote a book saying we're the most idle workers. We have the most idle workers in the world. You have to train. That's obviously vital, but you can't train people up overnight. It takes years. If you change your policy about training up more scientists, it's going to take years. It's like we're short of doctors. So what do they say? They say, oh, train more doctors. 7, 8 years. This cannot be done quickly, but you have to concentrate on training and on technology, and that's the only way you're going to increase productivity. Otherwise, it's all meaningless. You know, the general idea of training people up. I mean, what does that mean? Who are you going to train up? The whole thing is just. It's just so naive, it's so simplistic, it's so childish. You know, our economy is in a really bad way. We have to do something about it. And this sort of meaningless gibberish from Johnson doesn't help. Anyway, that's what I think about it. And if you watch this, well, thank you very much indeed, and if you approve of what I'm saying, please like and subscribe. I'd much appreciate it. And until next time, well, bye for now.